Hey everyone, I'm Mark,
And I'm Alex.
and this is Final Stop for Final Fantasy Talks. Welcome everyone to episode 59. We're going to continue on our Final Fantasy X walkthrough, playthrough, whatever you want to call it. We left off where we were at the Makalania Temple. We kicked Seymour's butt. We fell through a lake that was frozen that turned out to be a weird lake because there was water underneath the water. And, I mean, who knows? But regardless, Sin was there. He transported us. And then we woke up on a desert. We left it there. So Titus, this dude is always just like, I don't know, like drowning in water. He's always just waking up like in water, like, and it's like, dude.
And isn't it funny that it's like a flashback? It's basically the same way that he ended up in Besaid, right?
Yeah,
Face
exactly.
down in the water, just like drowning somehow.
Yep. And so you're able to move around pretty much right away. If you stay in the water, there's a chest there with 4 remedies, and if you go out, there's Safe Sphere, and then it'll just kind of start a scene where Titus is kind of looking around, wondering where he's at. And then, dude, I just thought about this because I just played through today to do my little notes and all that stuff, and he's sitting
Mhm.
here and he's talking in his head, and he's like, "I forgive you this time. Try to be good, okay?" Is Sim omnipotent? Dude, he can't read your mind, man. Like, what are you even doing? I mean, I guess he's just
Yeah.
having inner dialogue and all that, so maybe that's what it is. But still, it's kind of like, you forgive him this time, huh? Okay.
I can just imagine Sin. No, I don't think I will be good this time. No, sorry, Titus. I'm gonna
Yeah,
go out there and cause havoc.
exactly. Well, there is a nice soundtrack here, man. I like it. It's kind of just like, I don't know how to describe them. A lot of them are kind of peaceful and slow, and I don't know. They kind of just match these areas. I mean, it's a desert, it's oasis. You
Yeah.
would think it'd be like maybe, I don't know, like maybe some Eastern music, but no, it's just kind of like a
Yeah.
chill. It's nice. You'll need it because you're about to get into. Oh man, you're about to get in some battles.
Oh yeah. I mean for sure. And going back to the soundtrack too, it sort of does have like Middle Eastern kind of vibes to me. Like this place always remind me of I mean I guess the most obvious would be like the Sahara or something like
Sure.
that, like real sand dune kind
Yeah.
of desert. But yeah, the soundtrack just fits it perfectly.
It does. And so if you move forward, obviously you have to, you get into this forced battle. Now, right now, you only have Titus, which you may have noticed if you went into your party screen. And so it's like, whoa, where's everyone else? And well, it's against a zoo, which is just basically another one of those gigantic bird models. This one's a little furry or feathery or whatever. And
Mhm.
dude, I just love Titus' reaction. You get in the battle, and Titus is like, whew, like, all right, here we go. Goodness gracious, that's a big bird.
Yeah, and it's like starting over again, Here we are, like just like at the beginning of the game, just Titus on his own,
Yes.
and this guy's actually really tough. Like this is one where he hits really hard. Basically, I think he usually hits for about 13 to 1500
Yes.
damage, and he's got like 14,000 HP. So
Yeah, I think it's like 12,000, and everyone's familiar with my playthrough, right? I'm only using Yuna, Lulu, and Kamari, and so Titus is stock, He has like 500 health. And so I went into this, I'm like, well, we'll see if you can get a game over right here. And, well, you don't, because, I attacked with Titus. Yeah! Dude did like 130. I'm like, woohoo! Only 11,800 to go,
wow,
And,
good job, man. Good job.
yeah, it Zoo came back, boom, one shot hit him for like 1100 damage, like you said, and I was like, okay, what's gonna happen?
Oh
Well,
man.
Orin instantly came in, so no matter what, through this battle, if you're just fighting normally and Titus is getting low, do you think it's timed or do you think it's like maybe HP percentage based?
I think it's. Oh man, that's a good question because I was gonna say HP based,
I think it
but
is because
yeah,
he
it seems
okay,
like
so Titus was dead and I didn't get a game
right.
over, but then instantly here comes Orin, need some help.
Yeah.
He's dead,
And
Orin. He's dead. So yes, he needs some help, Hal.
yeah, exactly. I think that's the thing. If Titus goes into critical or something like that, then it expedites it. But I've had times where like, if you're strong enough, you could take out Zoo, I think, before they
Really?
show up.
That'd be
I
interesting.
think so, but I mean it's an interesting because it's kind of interesting dynamics that go into it, the
Yeah.
parameters and things like that. So,
And it does make me think it's HP percentage based just because like so in mine, yeah, right. So he died, Orin came in instantly
mhm.
after that. Lulu came in instantly right after that as well. Which again she goes, "Are you all right?" He's dead. So
No.
again, he's dead, guys. He is not all right. He needs your help.
That's the funniest thing too, is when he's like sitting there lying on the ground on his back,
Are you all right?
sword next to him. It's like, you all right? No, no, I don't think he is. I think he's knocked unconscious. Well, yeah, one funny thing I just want to throw out there before
Sure.
we move on to the next stuff is that this is kind of a fun fact that maybe some people don't know. If you're doing like a low level run, or you're, like in your case with Titus, you haven't like upgraded or leveled up Lulu or anything like that, she'll still come in using a level 2 spell even if she hasn't learned one.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those really funny things. She always enters the battle using like Thundera.
It does like next to no damage. It does like 100 and something. It's like, okay. Like she does way
Yeah.
more than that, but
Exactly. It's just one of those weird things where it's not even technically part of the battle. It's just its own, like, it's almost like a little cutscene script, you
yeah.
know? But
Yeah, and this fight was a little bit of a slog for me, man. I left Titus dead. I didn't even worry about it. I instantly just
yeah.
had a power break
No
with
point.
Orin, which is good to do for zoos anyways, because they do hit pretty hard. And, well, Orin's only doing like 250 on mine also, so it was pretty much I just had to wait for Lulu to blast it down over time. And unfortunately, if you're doing some interesting challenge runs or something, some parts of this game, they really do force you to have to use some players that's like, well, crap, I haven't developed them. Once you do defeat that zoo, you can move around. Lulu kind of gives it to you because Titus is like, where's everyone else? Or maybe where's Yuna or something. And Lulu says, like, we're supposed to stay put if we get split up. Dude, how is that productive? Like what in the world? How? No one's gonna come looking for you guys. Have you seen Spear? We've encountered, like, I don't know, 5 people from traveling across half the planet here. Like, there's no one gonna be here. No one knows you're in the desert. Oh, we're just supposed to stay in the desert forever. I'm not gonna go look for anyone. It's just, they're the Guardians. They are the ones supposed to be saving people, man. And they're the ones like, please save me. All right, well, enemies, man. We already kind of covered the zoo for the most part. I mean, again, 12k health, dude. They're starting to get up there. That's quite a bit of damage, or health rather. And so, it'll probably take you a little bit to slog through it. Kind of the typical things for, well, really most enemies, especially physical damage dealers, is, blind works well, so you can always do that. Interesting fact, though, with this one is it lands, right? So after a certain point, I think normally, like, maybe it's with like 1,000 health left or something, it'll land on the ground. But if you do enough damage when it's in the air to kill it, it won't die. It's almost like it kind of gets like, its last chance, whatever, because then it'll land, and then you have to just do essentially 1 HP to it.
Yeah, it's almost like a auto raise kind of thing, or auto life sort of. But another cool thing with this guy is that you can steal a lot of smoke bombs.
I'm gonna let you hit this next one, man, because I do not know how to pronounce that.
Oh man, I don't know either. It's the bird type
Your
enemy.
turn.
It's like the blackbird or something. It's called an Alcyon.
Yeah, sure.
Alcyon.
I'll go with it, man. I ain't gonna say jack.
Alcyon? I don't know how you're supposed to say that. Alcyon or something
Yeah.
like that. But anyways, really, this guy's super weak. He's basically fire or Fira will kill him.
Oh, yeah.
So super weak.
Yeah, I mean, Lulu's Firas were overkilling it for 2,600, and
Exactly.
it
It has, like, no magic
400.
defense.
So, I mean, it's ridiculous. I will say, though, you need some accuracy to hit it. I mean, I was using Waka, in here a little bit when we find him and use him, and he was missing like crazy. Now, granted, he also hasn't moved anywhere, so he hasn't gotten a bunch of accuracy, but, like, still, like, they really do kind of step up on the evasion there. Another one is you can, well, you're in the desert, so of course you can encounter cactars. And so these ones are not to be confused with the quacktars in Thunder Plains, right? These ones are mean business, dude. So it's the same thing, they'll like to flee a lot, they dodge a lot, they're really strong, they have super high defenses, all that same stuff. They, instead of 1,000 needles, they use 10,000 needles, so no matter what, you're gonna die. I mean, someone will die.
Much. Yeah, there's no way you're going to be breaking the HP limit at this point in the game, so it's pretty much for sure KO. And I mean, honestly, these guys are actually really tough. I don't know that I have like a way to kill them if it's not just overdrive. I mean, that's what I normally do because you can't hardly hit them, and their magic defense is really high, so you'll barely do any damage to them. And they're armored and all that kind of stuff. So this is usually where I like just unload basically overdrives.
Yeah, and you want, because overdrive is 100% hit, and you want to. 1, if you just kill it normally, will give you 8,000 AP. 12,000 if you overkill it. Dude, that's insane. for
Yeah, and
comparison, most of these other enemies in this are giving like 1 to 2,000 tops.
exactly, and I think they give a lot of gil as well, and as usual, they drop initiative weapons and HP MP stroll armor. They're definitely worth it. They're not the most common encounter either, so when you
No.
do come across them, you probably want to try and kill it.
You also have the Mususu.
Mushusu.
It's
I love
just
that
the
name.
other armored drakes. It's kind of typical
Mushusu.
drake things. They use breath. This one's weak to ice. Not really too hard. This one, they actually do have much higher magic defense than the other ones have usually. And so, like a Blizzara didn't take one out on Lulu, and I just told you,
Oh, okay.
meanwhile we overkilled that bird with 2600, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
it needed a little extra tap. So maybe some armored weapons with ice strike would be, or ice touch would be very, very helpful for that. Even less dangerous is the sand wolf, kind of up there with the bird type. It has like 400 health. Now they do have really high magic defense, but with tier 2 magic, you'll still just take it out. It's weak to fire and ice. And then typical kind of with the sand wolf or just wolf types, it can also cause sleep and silence on hit.
Yeah, exactly. And then some of the more difficult ones, or at least one of the more difficult ones that we'll get to in an area later on here, is this sandworm. This guy is insane. He's got
Dude.
45,000 hit points.
45,000. That's more than any boss we've encountered up to this point.
Exactly. It's absolutely crazy. But luckily he has like no defense. This is the nice thing. I don't think I've ever missed him either. You're not gonna miss him. He has basically no
Can you
defense. He has
imagine?
no magic.
Titus goes up to strike it, misses.
Seriously though, I think the only way is maybe if you were blinded or something like that. But anyways, yeah, I mean, you can deal a lot of damage to him. They're also weak to ice and water, so Lulu can be busy putting in work. The weird thing about this guy is, and I figured this out last time I was playing, so he does this swallow move where he basically swallows one of the characters, one of your players, one of your three, and you have to hit him a certain number of times with physical attacks to get him to basically regurgitate the character, and then it does like damage. But it's a really interesting dynamic because it's usually, I mean, even when you're highly leveled, you're not going to be able to take out 45,000 health before him doing the swallow move. But I just found out, like, even if you use like Yuna or Lulu, who's doing like 16 or 20 damage or something like that, I think it's 10 hits, somewhere around there, it'll make him do the regurgitate.
So it's not a damage level, it's just a number of hits.
Yeah, it's a number of physical hits. It's really interesting.
And it will use a move called Earthquake. It does quite a bit of damage to everyone, so, that's just kind of the main thing to maybe watch out for. But an easy way, if you want to go ahead and just one-shot it, and if you have an overdrive on Orin, is just use Shooting Star, and boom, there you go. And that's over.
And that's the best animation, too. It's like...
yeah, you see a giant worm fly through the air.
Seriously, how does he do that? But I mean, that's a good point too, because I'm trying to remember what the overkill threshold is, but it can overkill him too. Just the eject plus a certain amount of damage can cause overkill, and he also gives a lot of experience and things like that.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, I usually don't even waste my time with them. I usually just flee because it's so much health. And while it is a lot of experience, it's still, I think it's like 2,000. And it's like, dude, I could have probably taken out like 3 battles and gotten way more experience than that by now, but, in the same amount of time, just because 45,000 health, man. I mean, it's a slog. Anyways, there's one last kind of enemy. You will actually encounter them before Rikku, and we'll get to that in a moment, but it's called Mech Guard. It's just one of those basically Machina robots, kind of similar to what we experienced in Luca. It's a machine, so weak to lightning, and then there's a little quirk with them that we'll find from Rikku here in a moment. We got to go ahead and move forward, and we see Wakka. He's just chilling down. You talk to him. He's asking about Yuna, and he's like, blasted all bit, or Machina, and look, he's not willing to use Machina, but he's willing to use its shade from the sun. Wakka, you're still using the Machina, inadvertently, buddy.
It's Machina shelter, dude. Come on. It's forbidden.
It's forbidden.
Yeah,
that shade is forbidden. That shade is put off from Machina, man. It's forbidden. You're sitting in it.
But Wakka's gone through a hard time, man. When you think about everything that's happened over the past, I don't know, a couple of episodes at least, right? Like back to Makalani. He's going through such a hard time.
His faith is being shaken.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not going to get any better. So, yeah, I mean, seriously, he kicks the Machina again. So now his foot is fractured in 2 different places. That's just great.
because he kicks it and he does the whole like holding his foot thing. So he's got that. He's got the scars
Sure.
from the cannon back on Operation Mihen, and now he's got this thing. So Machina's kicking his butt so far, but he does join the party. Obviously, you guys are gonna try to go find Yuna. The chest next to him is really kind of interesting. And like you open it and it like you get an Albed first aid kit and you're like, what the heck? And it basically just tells you that you'll start to get Albed potions and kind of stuff like that. And it also has 8 Albed potions. These are quite nice because you have to use them, so you can't just go to the item menu and use it that way. You have to use the usability, but heals everyone for 1,000 and will remove poison, silence, and petrify. So it's kind of like a mixture between like a mega potion and a remedy at the same time. It's pretty useful.
Yeah, exactly. And you'll be getting a whole bunch of these, all of the random encounters up, here with the sand wolf and the bird and all that kind of stuff. They like to drop a lot of Albed potions as well as the mechs. So you'll be definitely getting a lot of those. And without Yuna and everything, you're pretty much at this point just using high potions. So
apparently also here, if you have missed an Albed primer or 2 or whatever, I don't know. Apparently there's one here, man. Do you know which one that would be? Does it kind of depend on is it whatever one you've maybe missed or something?
I'm not sure. I mean, that's a good point that you kind of, like, I didn't really think about that. Normally there's not one there for me because I'm usually getting all of them, but I don't know. I mean, that's something I'd have to kind of look up.
Yeah, but so apparently if you have missed one, there will be one here. If you have not, there will not be anything here. So you go ahead, go to the next screen. Let me ask you, can you miss players here, man? Can you like skip some of them?
Yeah, I think you actually can.
Yeah.
Because on this spot right here that we're at, once you go one screen forward, you kind of have a fort around this dune right in front of you, and you either go left or you go right. And this is one of those situations where you go right, and we see Kamari. There's like a little cutscene of him trying to just walk up a sand dune all casually, just slides back down.
Slides down. You don't want to maybe get a running start at all?
Nope.
No? Maybe use those
Or
big
just
old
go the other
paws
way.
you got and go on all fours and like you kind of leapt at Titus way back in Besaid. You could do one of those motions. No, he's just like, Kamari tired. Kamari walk up sand. Kamari fail. I mean, it's ridiculous, but Kamari does.
Gonna say I love the dialogue there too, because it's basically like he's like casually walking up, falls back down. Yuna gone, and then Titus. It's not your fault, Kamari.
I don't. Not only that, but it's like, dude, Kamari, can you like literally look to your right, dude? There's a path right there, man. Riku's around the corner. Like, no, I'm just gonna keep walking up this desert. Oh my gosh, dude. And why is everyone an imbecile? All these guardians are imbeciles, man. I don't understand.
Now imagine if they all stayed in one place. You've got Kamari just standing over there. You've got Waka like 20 feet away on the other side of the dune.
Yeah, Riku's over there like, man, is anyone gonna come to save us? And they're like, I think I hear voices. It's just the heat playing tricks on my mind. No, I think I see Waka. Nope. I mean, seriously, man. I don't know.
Psychosis.
It's really ridiculous. It's funny though. We like to make fun of it. But so if you go the other way, we'll find Rikku. She has kind of hold on. We'll get to the chest first. You can't actually get the chest yet until after you talk, but I'm gonna get lost because we're about to start busting up. So one of the chests has 2 ethers, and actually I guess it is just one chest. So has a chest with 2 ethers is right next to her, so you'll be able to get that. But here we go. Riku's is like she's like kind of looking around. She's like, I think I know where we are. She's like kind of looks, and then she's like, I'm gonna tell you something if you promise not to tell. Waka.
I love that part.
With his face. Oh my gosh.
It's the glare.
It's like
She's so funny.
She says. She knows where we're at. We're on an island called Bikanel. The guide and some other places also call it Sanubia, I think, is what it is.
Yeah,
Sanubia Desert.
Sanubia Desert.
So I guess it's
Yeah.
either one, but it's Bikanel Island, I believe it maybe is what it is. And she just basically says that like this is the city, essentially they call it home, but the city of the Outbed, which that does kind of fill in some blanks, right? I mean, if we think about mainland, Spira, and we don't really know where the Ronsas are, so we don't know that, but we know where the Guado are, we know some other things, but we also haven't done anything on, well, really Outbed at all. We don't know
Yeah.
anything about them. And so, well, here we go. We got a little bit. She's making everyone promise. Waka's like, why? So you don't get found by Yevon or something? She's like, Yevon did
Yeah.
something really bad to us before. Probably deserved it. It's like, geez, man, yes.
Yeah, I know.
They can only do evil, huh?
It's just like classic. It's like whatever you did, you probably deserved it to get attacked.
Yeah.
So,
You deserve to die, heretics.
oh man. Yeah, and I was gonna say too, isn't it convenient that Sin just happened to drop us out here because there was no way on our normal pilgrimage we were just gonna come across freaking Bikanel Island.
Oh.
You can see it's like, right in the middle of the ocean pretty much, so
Yes. I have some things to say about that. We'll have to wait till we get a little further in because, yeah. You get Rikku in your party. Well, if you move forward, you'll get into a forced battle, and so you'll get a couple of those mech guys, and Rikku basically says, like, hey, I can take them out instantly with steel, and so it actually doesn't even force you to do it like a lot of the other tutorials kind of do, but if you do steal from them, it, like, dismantles them, and they die in one shot, so basically that does make it easy. They don't have that much health. It's only like 1,200, so it's not like they're a hard enemy, but this does make it a lot easy. Dude, What is she stealing? Okay, first, she's stealing Albed potions. So apparently these Albed use these potions as like paste for these parts because once she steals the potions, they fall apart. How does that make any sense?
I know. It would have made more sense if they actually dropped something like a digital circuit or, some sort of cable, right? Or something like that. I mean,
Some
she
sort of
goes up there and
mechanical parts.
she does like the little swipe thing, and then it's like, what is she stealing? A booking pin out of it or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know. What is she? And the Albed are building this with literally like all you have to do is remove one thing and the whole entire it falls apart. Like
It just falls apart.
That is shoddy craftsmanship, my friend. That is not good.
Yeah.
That is we're not gonna be doing anything with that.
But I mean, it just makes Rikku that much more useful, right? Because
Yes.
basically she's the fastest one. So I always have her in the front lines just because it's going to help you. Well, it kind of help you get like the first turn, I guess,
Yeah. Especially if you haven't taken anyone down her path. Why, I guess it'd probably only be Kamari, but you know, she is kind of very. I mean, she's almost needed here, just in ways of damage and all that, because she can use those Albed high potions, so she can kind of fill that
that's
role
the
of
other
healer.
thing.
She
Right.
can one-shot these mech things, and so she is quite useful. It also does work, though, for any other character, so it's not like it's just if Rikku steals, it's just steal in general. So, like, I have steal on Kamari, and he was just taking them out, too, same thing. So you go to the left side of the screen. There's, like, this little alcove, has a chest with 4 high potions. Just be prepared. We're about to just lay on some high potion treasure on you, well, just some potion treasure in general.
They're really giving you a ton of them because at this point, again, this is pretty much the first time in the game that we have, other than like the very beginning, that we haven't had Yuna and maybe a couple of, parts in between with not so tough enemies. But yeah, they give you a ton of those and you'll really start racking up a lot of the Albed potions between like the battles of the mechs and just all the regular battles. They're dropping like, 4 to 8.
6. Yeah, they drop a lot.
Yeah, they drop a ton. So you end up basically using Rikku a lot for healing.
That's the thing. Don't shy away from using them. I mean, even if it's like just taking minor damage, you might as well just use one.
Exactly.
Kind of the next screen, it kind of just opens up, and it's like, for once, it's not linear path. You might be like, am I playing Final Fantasy X here? No, you are. It's a little wider open area. If you kind of go in the middle, there's like ruins or something, I don't know, metal chunks. But there's a chest with a high potion times 4 in it, so another 4 high potions. If you go all the way over to the west side, along the way, again, look for wreckage or something. I can't exactly remember where they're at. There's a chest with 2 X potions, so that's a little bit better. And then, kind of like in the corner, if you go all the way to the left side screen, go all the way up, there's a chest with 2 mega potions. So at least they're actually giving you other things than high potions.
Yeah, and mega potions are awesome. If we haven't talked about them before, they heal everybody for 2,000 HP. Really useful in a pinch. So And then basically, you probably saw the safe sphere on your way over to that west side. There's a safe sphere over by the Albed, like an Albed sign. If you go and read it, depending on how many of the primers you've gotten, basically what it says is that there's stronger fiends to the left, weaker to the right. And so this is that spot we were talking about earlier that has a lot of encounters with the sandworm, higher encounter rate of the cactars and things like that, also zoos, and plenty of battles with chests in them that usually have X potions, well, actually, I don't know about high potions, like mega potions, things like that. Really nice chests. So,
Yeah, good stuff. So if you want to spend some time there, that's a golden opportunity to kind of build up some great stuff. And also there's some chests. So within the actual ruins, there's like a building almost you can walk into. There's 2 chests, and it has 1 level 2 key sphere and 10,000 gil, and then just kind of
nice.
over again on the left side or bottom left or something is one with an elixir. So I mean, this area in general is really good for restorative items. If you go all the way to the north, in another building is an Albred Primer 17.
Exactly. And it's just a good grind spot too, because all of these encounters, the zoos, like I said, you can get tons of smoke bombs. You steal them in like 3s and 4s rare steel, I believe. So you also get these encounters with the sand wolves where you can get a whole bunch of sleeping powders. They're basically like a grenade, causes sleep that lasts for about 3 turns. So it's a bit like sleep attack. And then the sandworm, the other thing I wanted to mention is you can steal shadow gems from them. So even if you run away, you get to keep your steals. So usually what I'll do, steal a couple of those because it's basically like Demi, except it takes away 50% of HP. So it's really good.
Yeah.
And if you get lucky with equipment drops, these guys can also drop shaman equipment, which has auto potion.
Well, if you head back to where the safe sphere was, well, okay, so on this left side you can move forward. On the right path you could also move forward. So they both lead to the same place, but if we kind of just backtrack a little bit and we go to the right side, probably saw it as well at the safe sphere because it's not that hard to see, but there's actually another primer, and that's 18. That's kind of why we did it in that order, just because, you know, this one's 18, last one's 17, but it's by a sign right before you get to the next area. And so if we do go to the next area, let's start off by going to the left side. So there's kind of like this alcove here. Before you get inside the alcove, there's a chest with, oh, you guessed it, high potions. 8. I mean, like, gosh, man,
Yeah.
how much damage do they think we're taking here? Like, this is insane with the amount of potions.
I know. I guess they're maybe giving a little bit of foreshadowing.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
I
know. I
guess.
mean, you know, they because they really are giving you a lot of good items here. And then also, there's a sand kind of like a sinkhole or something like that, like a
Yeah.
sand sinkhole over
Kind of,
there.
kind of reminds of
And
Final Fantasy IX's little sinkhole, like whirlpool
yeah,
things.
that's a good point, actually. Yeah, they're like the little whirlpools in Clara. This one's really special. It actually has a Mercury crest in it, which is a key item. It's kind of like we talked about the Moon crest way, way, way back in Besaid and the Mars crest,
Yes. We've gotten quite
Mihen.
a
But
few at this point.
yeah, we just don't really exactly know, and we don't have that much use for them just yet. So
Right. Yep. So definitely get that. It's just in the bottom. You can go in there, pick it up, no problem. This one won't have an enemy in it that the ones here in a moment will. And honestly, in this whole area, you'll probably notice like some cactus down on the right side of the screen, you know. And there are some paths that do lead there. You can't go there. It says like I think it's like a sandstorm's blocking the way. And so obviously we will get back to this later. But you know that area is there, and you can kind of take a look. You just can't go down there yet. Further up on the left screen, so if you kind of stay on the left side and you went up, there's another chest with 2 X potions, another chest with 3 Mega potions. I mean, we
crazy.
are just getting them like crazy.
And then basically, if you just kind of keep going, there's a series of these basically the same kind of like sand pits that we were talking about, but these ones actually have really annoying
Oh,
enemies in
gosh.
them. These Sandragoras are really annoying. They have a ton of HP and they're armored.
It's pretty funny because there are chests. So the first 2 you come across, there's like chests on the outside. Dude, are these fiends like literally smart enough to use like chest bait? Is that what they're doing right here? They're baiting you with these treasure chests because if you
Yeah.
go up to it and you click on it, it slides down the center. It's like, how did
Yeah.
that happen? I mean, I was literally just trying to open it. It's sitting there this whole time. You can stare at it for like literally infinite time without going to it. As soon as you go to it, Sandragor is like reeling it down. Boop, boop, boop.
And it's funny because like the camera kind of changes, right? So it goes from like basically level with the ground, like third person, and then it switches to a different angle, almost more like a bird's eye, where you can see in there,
Yeah.
and there's a Sandragora there and stuff. And Yeah, but you definitely want to get into these fights because the prizes are seriously good.
Oh
So,
man.
because these guys can be kind of dangerous. They use the seed burst attack that causes confuse. Doesn't do a whole
Yes.
lot of damage, but the confuse is the big
Dude,
problem.
and they like do it non-stop. Like, because they
Yeah,
can also use sea cannon.
constantly.
These will be very reminiscent of like the little kind of plant enemy back in Kilika way back that we
Yeah.
used Lancet. Kamari, why don't you use Lancet on it? You know, and so
Why don't
it's
you lens it?
pretty much that same thing, but they use, so again, like Alex said, like seed cannon or seed burst.
Seed burst,
Dude,
yeah.
oh my gosh, it's like almost every single turn, and it actually does do a really good job at spreading it among. You know, you'll it's nice when they confuse it and then they attack the same player again and unconfuse. You're like, thanks. It's dangerous. I mean, it just really depends on who is confused and all that, because, like, Lulu was dodging most of them, but I even forgot that, well, I had, the Kate Sith with Death Strike on it, so Lulu
Oh,
killed Kamari with Death, so
oh
that was
man,
fun. Because, otherwise,
that's
like, oh,
fun.
big deal, she's gonna do 13 damage, and then I was like, oh no, I forgot I had that on.
That's the funniest thing too, when the little Kate Sith like does its attack thing, it waddles over there, and then they just drop dead.
Yeah, drop. I was
Like,
like, oh. And I only have Kamari and Lulu built up, and I was just throwing Waka in there kind of like as a meat shield, but,
mhm.
he was dying for both of these. He's dead through the whole thing. And it actually took a bit, because like you said, they have a lot of health. I think it's something like 12,000 again, similar to Zoo.
They're also susceptible, I believe, to armor break, so that's usually a good strategy. Sleep Buster works if you've got that, and if you have them, you would have to do backtracking to get these. But if you've got Petrify grenades, that's a surefire. Just toss one of those and it's
Oh,
over.
nice. So Stone
Yeah,
Breath 2 with
super easy.
Kamari would work.
Yep, I believe it's 100%, and they just shatter instantly.
Oh, nice.
So
Well, and like you said, man, I mean, you definitely want to get these. The first one you come across has 3 mega elixirs in it. So, I mean,
yeah.
that's just... We only have elixirs up to this point, so that is a 100% party saver right there if you're in dire straits.
Just gotta say, on the Mega Elixir, one really funny thing about that is you can actually teach your Aeons full life with one Mega Elixir.
Whoa!
But what's the point?
Yeah.
Unless,
Well,
like,
there's only one Aeon's group that would actually
right.
maybe benefit, but that's like, you won't get that forever.
Yeah.
That's the first pit. The second one has 2 teleport spheres. So again, you probably remember us talking about, like, you can get teleport spheres from Blitzball, and I've gotten a couple, but if not, this is probably your first time, well, it is your first time seeing teleport spheres. Really good. I mean, you only get 2 of them, so I don't know what you want to do with them. There's a lot of different things. You actually put down a really good thing you can use teleport spheres for.
You can use it to basically go anywhere on the sphere grid that's not behind a lock that you haven't activated or something like that.
I think it's anywhere that you have unlocked among all characters.
Right.
So,
Oh, right.
you can go all that, but if you
Yeah.
haven't been there, then you just can't.
Right. That's a good point. But the real use for this, honestly, this is what I always love to do, at least use one of them this way, is if you have a weapon that has an empty slot, you can actually use one of these to customize evade and counter, which is just, I love it so much because it's so broken. Like, basically,
Dude,
it
is.
makes it so that enemies can't hit you with just a regular attack. It evades 100% of the time and counters.
Gosh, dude, I mean, and that's the thing. There's some really fun kind of combos you can do with this, obviously
Mhm.
once you get more items and stuff, but, think about Death Strike with the Evade Encounter. I mean, that's
Exactly.
huge, it's
Or
free
Stone
attacks.
Touch or Stone
Yeah.
Strike or something like that.
Well, and the great thing about that too is, I actually didn't even think about that in mine. I remember I used my teleport spheres on on Yuna because I was like, I gotta get her some magic. But I mean, essentially, if you have some from Blitzball, you can have evade encounters early as like right before Guado Salam. As soon as you get Rikku on, it's like, gosh, man, you could just be a beast from all the way from there up to this point.
Exactly. And I mean, even at this place, if you grind a little bit, like you get I think it's something like 36 smoke bombs from the zoos, which when you're getting them, you usually get at least 6 per battle with those guys. So it's really not as bad as it sounds. But then you can do something like Dark Strike, evade and counter. That's already pretty good right there.
That's
I
good
mean,
too.
but it kind of gets this thing. We'll talk a little bit more in detail about customization, but it's tricky because usually you don't have anything that has more than like 2, or maybe if you got really really lucky, 3 empty slots to work with. So you kind of want to be careful with what you put with the Vade encounter because you're not going to come across a lot more of these teleport spheres. So whoever you put it on, just really make a good decision with that
Yeah.
because it's going to stay for a while.
Yeah, and just be patient with the other slots. Don't just fill it in with something for now. Just
Don't
so it
put like a
has it.
touch or
Yeah, I agree with that. And I mean, and the thing is too, going back to those smoke bombs, you know, it won't take a while because you are going to be getting in so many battles. It is ridiculous, dude. I gave up about at the big area. I gave up and just turned the counters off. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore, man. I don't even got Yuna.
Yeah, it's tedious.
It's like it really ramps up. It's kind of like Thunder Plains territory with battles. You know, you will get into so many. It's insane.
So, I mean, you could stack up a lot of items and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not always a bad thing if you're patient and don't want to just move along me. I was like, let's get a move on. Exactly. And that's what we'll do right now. So anyways, you get that teleport sphere ×2 chest. And then there's a third sinkhole. This one does not have a chest in it, but it's in the middle of the path. The other two, you didn't have to get the chests and do those, but this one, no matter what, you will have to fight one Sandragore, no matter what. And so this last one, you just take it out, and it goes right after. Basically, just goes to a cutscene. Rikku is like, "Hey, it's like right up here," and then she walks up a hill and is like, "Oh," and it goes to like a cinematic, and it's showing like
FMV,
yeah, you could tell it's home. It just kind of looks like a mechanical city kind of thing or whatever. And oh man, it's getting attacked big time. You can just see fiends going all over the place doing stuff. Your gunfire, all that forbidden machina, man. I'm sure. Why are they using forbidden machina to protect themselves?
It is pretty crazy though, right? Like home, it does look like like a machinist sort of complex or something like that. It's pretty cool, but it's also an awesome scene where you get, you see like the Garudas flying around and stuff like that. Apparently they're just using fiends to attack. That's the other funny thing is you'll see like Garudas and the dual horn, basically all the fiends from Mihen for some reason, they just transported them all there.
I know, right?
I don't know why. They're like, these guys are really strong.
They're like, oh, these are the strongest. It's like, well, not really. They're like, oh,
Not
do it.
really.
Well, you get to the rat's nest, home, and so it's under attack, right? And you guys are going there. There's like just fiends. There's like a wolf chases a guy down, mows him down, and Kyaku! And it's like, oh no, not Kyaku! Oh no, that was the best guy. It's just funny how it was just like a named guy. They really wanted to name Kyaku, and stuff. And
no, Kyaku!
Yeah, it's like, no, Kyaku!
Like,
he was
who?
so young.
I'm sorry. Who is this again?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's more like K-Ya-Who is what it is. Yeah, no.
But
you'll learn from him because she's like, who's doing this? Like, who's attacking us? It's Yevon and the Guado. So Yevon, Guado. So this does really kind of go back to like when we were being chased from Makalania, and like the Guado they're like beast masters again or something. Like I don't know, they control beasts. It's really interesting. I guess when you have long arms, you can't swipe at someone. Dude, those guys could easily claw people to bits without no one could even come close to them because they're out of reach. And so
they got like knife fingers and something like that. You see,
fingers.
Look at how sharp their nails are.
Yes, but well, I mean, I guess if you don't have to and you can just throw fiends at it, why not? Some other guy comes up, checks on Kyaku, shakes his head.
Not good. Not good.
Lost Riku's lover. I was gonna finally get rid of her. No, but you do learn what he's like. You Riku's friends? Well, don't just stand there. Help out. It's like, dude, I don't know who you are, man.
Imagine Titus just like, excuse me, sir, you're gonna have to just go ahead and ask me nicely.
Yeah.
I'm not just...
You learn that is Sid, and she's like, that's my dad and the leader of the Bhed. So if you think back to Luca, when we were on the boat, and Yuna was like, was there a man named Sid on the boat and stuff, and you learn that he's my uncle. Well, so apparently Yuna's uncle is Sid, which of course then makes Rikku her cousin, and we just learned again that, he's basically the leader of the Bhed, and it's been playing this whole time. Oh, has it been playing? And it will continue playing, non-stop. Abadoy! Abadoy!
Abadoy!
Abadoy! Oh my gosh! Will you shut up with the Abadoyas? Oh my gosh!
This whole area is really annoying because not only do you have the background music of like this, trying to think if we've heard it before. I know we have it like certain situations, this like really intense kind of background music. And then you've got the freaking guy on the on the loudspeaker constantly, like you say, "I'm annoying, huh? I'm annoying, huh? I'm
Yeah,
annoying, huh?"
yeah. So I put a Bedoy, and it's true. It does sound like
Something.
they're saying, "I'm annoying, huh?" And
That's
it's
what
like,
I
yes,
always
you
think it
are.
is.
You are very annoyed. Oh my gosh, will you just stop with the music here? Honestly, this place wouldn't be so unbearable if we didn't have this music, man. And so, luckily, you can go in and you can just, into the sound settings and you can turn the music all the way down. But,
Yeah.
then maybe it'll make this area a little bit more. You know what? I didn't even think about that. I literally just thought about that
Yeah.
right there. So I'm going to do that on mine because I swear, dude, that song it gets on my nerves after playing this game
It's
so many times. And I'm just like,
yeah.
I dread coming to home to being forced to listen to a Bedoy Ah. And it's
Oh,
on repeat. It's on repeat. There's
yeah.
no like second or 2 seconds. No, it's just
Oh, yeah,
over and
it's
over
on
again.
repeat. The other thing I remember too is I think I remember looking at certain forums about what the guy was actually saying, and people were kind of saying that it was something like, to the bunker, to the airship, or something like that. But it's hard to tell because he's saying it so fast and it's all overlaid over it.
You can go ahead. You can walk around here. You can get some potions off some dead bodies. you can go ahead. You can go ahead and loot the
Oh
bodies.
man,
No one has
yeah.
a problem with that. I guess it's like
Hey man, we gotta
wallet.
survive. And this is also a really important part. So right off the bat, like right after the scene, we're still standing there after the Keiaku death and all that kind of stuff. There's a save sphere there. I recommend definitely making a copy here because these Albed primers, there's one on the left, which is what is that, 19? I
19.
believe
Yeah.
19, yeah, at this point. So these are completely missable once you get out of home, which is pretty insane to think. Like, and I mean completely missable. Like you would have to start over a new game or do the Albed compilation sphere or something like that. But you do not want to miss these.
Yeah, especially if you made it this far with not missing one, it would just kind of be a real
Yeah,
shame to miss one of these
yeah.
and miss out on that. So, yes, on the left side there is one. It's 19 sitting on there. They got the bodies, so you can just go around and pick up the potions. And then, yes, there is that safe sphere, and that's where we're going to end it. We could move a little bit further, maybe do a little bit more, but there's no real point because it just gets real heavy, as you would know if you've played through, and we got to leave ample time for that. So, we would like to thank you for listening to this episode, hanging out with us, spending time. We do appreciate the support. You can go to our website, finalstopforfinalfantasytalks.com. We have a little bit of blog. We got our Blitzball thing, which hopefully is going strong by now. I say hopefully because I can't see the future. So I'm hoping that we have a lot more done by then and whatnot. But we do appreciate that. You can also find us on Instagram. We like to just kind of post media of the different things. And it's just always fun because it's just it's a way for us to be able to kind of really pinpoint these specific things and scenes. Like that walk of face, you better believe that is coming. I got
Oh
that,
yeah,
man. It is coming
yeah,
and it is hysterical. It's real fun kind of posting
yeah.
stuff like that.
We really appreciate you guys listening. And I mean, I don't know, I'm enjoying it so far, man. It's been fun. We're
It
really
does.
getting through the game here. We're getting deep into the game at this point. And
Yes.
we're also getting to a lot of the good parts, a lot of the good scenes and things. And like you said, there's a lot of heavy stuff coming up, but it's just fun.
I would say this has probably been one of my most enjoyable playthroughs of Final Fantasy X.
Yeah,
Just going back and going through it so in depth, and I don't know, it's just so much fun to make fun of, essentially. So,
exactly.
but all right, everyone, I'll catch you next time. I'm Mark,
And I'm Alex.
and this is Final Stop for Final Fantasy Talks.